Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for July 7th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Kirsten. How you doing, Kirsten?
I'm doing well. I'd like to apologize in advance to anyone who is affected by my setup here. The lighting is bad. This apartment is bad for podcasting. I'm sorry. And then, of course, the live broadcast started feeding back into my headphones, and I was like, why is Taran saying good morning again? We're good.
Yes.
And happy birthday, Chemi, and only Chemi.
And only Chemi. Yes, Chemi shares a birthday with, I don't know. I guess nobody.
I don't know who you're talking about because I think she's the only one alive born on July 7th.
I think you must be right. We are here to talk about everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 21 live feeds. It was day 18 in the house, and we had a veto competition.
I love that we're back to our normal schedule. We got the veto on Saturday, update Sunday. Love it.
There you go. Kirsten gets to talk about everything veto.
And it's Love Island, so it's perfect.
Yes. Kirsten will be hosting the Love Island podcast.
Yeah, so I hear you guys complaining about Love Island every single day on these updates, and it just hurts because if you've watched UK Love Island, it is a mess in a fun way, and it's going to be really fun to talk about.
Yes, well, I mean, I think as Big Brother viewers, we are all very used to complaining about shows, but loving the coverage, right?
I feel like that's more for other shows too, but yeah, fair enough. I'll be keeping a list. Any other complaints about Love Island?
All right. Well, let's talk here about the day on Big Brother 21. We had, of course, as I mentioned, the veto competition. But first, you have to pick players for the veto. And that was really the first big thing of the day. So obviously, Chemi, Jess, and Jack are all playing in the veto. And then they pick. So Sam and Bella were chosen to play. And then Jess got house guest choice. And she looked around the room and she said, Jackson.
Taran, what is wrong with these people? Like the last 2 or 3 days with Jess, I've just been like, okay, cool. Awesome. Just great. What does she think she's going to accomplish here?
Yeah, it's I honestly don't even know.
I'm trying, the wheels are spinning. I'm trying to determine what strategic purpose this could actually serve. And the only thing I can think is that every single person who's not in the 8 is just trying to get into the 8.
Well, later in the night, I think there's some promise with some of them. One of them of which is already evicted. But still. Jess is going to choose Jackson. David is immediately going to be talking with Ovi about oh my God. What kind of control do they have in the house that Jessica chose Jackson to play in this veto? What are they doing in here?
Next thing you know, we're going to get someone with a broken leg winning a race.
You never know.
Could happen.
Jackson does say to Jack that if he was in control of what happened this week, he would use the veto and send Kat home.
Jackson's like, I would really like to use the veto. That's my preference, is to use the veto. And then Jack is like, wait, but you're not going to use it, right? And Jackson's like, no, I'll do what you want me to do. But I would want to use the veto.
Yeah, Jackson is just, he's just that guy that's just can we do this thing? And then everyone says, no, Jackson, not yet. Jack does agree. Okay, we'll get Kat out soon. Yeah. I promise. Just not this week. We're going to do Chemi first. Then probably Jess, but maybe Kat. Then Kat for sure the next week.
Jackson shouldn't want to get Kat out until after the camp comeback twist anyways. This is only going to come back to bite him if he gets her out sooner. I would like to see it, but that's not what he should be aiming for.
Yes. So I mean, look, Jackson, he has his own motives. He just needs. It doesn't matter if Kat. He just needs Kat upstairs, away from near his bedroom.
That's why people are motivated right now. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So Jackson does not plan on winning the veto. He's like, I'll go for it, but I would love to not win the veto, but I'll definitely not use it if I win it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, he's like, I'll make sure Chemi or Jess don't win the veto, but other than that, I don't really feel like I need to win.
Yeah. Chemi's going to talk to the cameras a little bit. She's going to tell them that she's going to win this veto. And then she's going to watch Jess cry because she won. I love Chemi.
I love Chemi so much. Like, Chemi is, we don't just, like, I would say we don't deserve her, but compared to everyone else, like, we need to have her. So we maybe do deserve her. I don't know. But it's just like, it's the perfect level of petty to be like, I win the veto. I'm going to take myself down. I'm going to watch Jess cry.
I love how annoyed she is at Jess for crying when she's the pawn. And Chemi's just like, I'm not crying. I'm the target. Get over it, Jess.
When she heard that Jess had been like straight up told she was the pawn, Chemi's reaction was just priceless.
Yes. She also tells Bella, she's like, it's annoying too, because America's going to root for Jess because she's the crybaby, but I'm the one being targeted. I'm the real underdog here, but I'm just not crying about it.
I love her. I love her so much. Like, there's nothing else to be said about Chemi except love her. Legend, icon. We deserve her. We need her.
Jess is going to talk with Jackson. And she's going to give her regular sort of spiel about, hey, I'm just not really playing the game like other people do. I just have integrity and I'm just like a good person. And so like, I just don't feel comfortable throwing people under the bus and dragging people through the mud like everyone else does in this house. That said, there is one person, it's a woman, can you believe it, that is like really bad. She's a really bad person, and she's trying to make up lies about me. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I am way too integral. She didn't actually say that, but I just really needed to throw it in for that. And I would never actually throw anybody under the bus, but this one person, she is saying things about me. So she said she's a person that maybe has said things about an all-women's alliance, but really she's the one that started the all-women's alliance. And I'm not going to name that person. I'm too good of a person for that. Just wanted to let you know that there is a person out there. And Jackson's like, yeah, I know who you're talking about. She's like, what? But I'm not throwing any names.
Taran, you're going to lose your integrity if you continue to embellish in your reenactment. She did not say integral. How dare you?
It popped in my head, and I just needed to say it.
You're watching the feeds and you're like, man, this story could be so much better if I just wrote it. Like, just say what I'm telling you to.
It would be so much better if Devin was saying it, is what I'm thinking.
This will be all of this will be included in you and Amon's Big Brother fan fiction that you're gonna write.
It like occurs to me now that Big Brother 16 was like 5 years ago, and people might not get the reference of integral, and so that was Devin on Big Brother 16. I'm sorry, guys, because like people are like, oh yeah, I'm a super fan. I've been watching for like 5 or 6 years, and I'm like, whoa, that's only Big Brother 15 and 16.
And so 5 or 6 years, it feels so long, but also not long at all. Wow. Time, it passes. It's crazy how that works.
Whoa.
But yeah, so Jess constantly going after, Bella, but not saying it. So it's totally fine. She's not saying any names. Shut up, Jess. I'm so annoyed with her. Like, I'm just done with her.
She's also gonna go and talk with Jess, talk with Jack and Sis about the same thing. There's there's a person here, there's a thing that's happening that she's saying that I created an all women's alliance, but it's this person. They obviously, they know that she's talking about Bella. And so she gives that spiel to them, and then Jack leaves and goes and talks to Bella. And the first thing he tells her is he's like, oh man, sis got trapped in there with Jess.
And I feel like Jess is at the point where she's got this lie and she has to just commit to it. Like, she can't go back on it now, especially being on the block. I get it. I feel like I've been in games of strategy where I've had to do the same thing, and it's like, you're caught, but you can't stop. But I don't know if she knows she's caught, and that bothers me.
It's really funny too, like just the way everything about it is really funny, because she's just like, this person, they took something great, a part of me, and they turned it into something ugly. My love for women, I just can't believe how they've twisted this into something gross and deceitful.
Like, to be the one who's banging the girl power drum all season, obviously, in public, and then have the audacity to try and blame it on someone else's. It's my favorite, probably, plot line that we've got going so far here.
Oh man, it's good. It's good. So Jack is going to tell Bella that Jess is down there throwing her under the bus, which I think Jess would vehemently oppose. I am not throwing anybody under the bus. How dare you, Jack?
She didn't say any names.
Somebody in this house is trying to claim that I'm throwing other people under the bus, and I do not do that. Person.
And I can't tell you who's doing this because I won't throw them under the bus.
They talk pros and cons about Jess or Chemi. It's going to be interesting. Jack is going to do this with Bella, and he's later going to do it with Nick. And both Bella and Nick would prefer for Chemi to stay, but they do absolutely nothing to argue for it, which is probably for the best given how suspicious the 6 shooters are of them. But they are very much just like, yeah, Chemi's definitely coming for you, and it would be better for your game to get Chemi out.
Well, and they also, this comes up a little bit later where they mention that they think they're being tested by Jack, and so they don't want to fail that test.
Yes.
Which they kind of are, so.
Is this a test? Yeah. That's the suspicious, like, oh man, I'm being tested right now.
Huh.
I gotta be wary.
I was like, I've never seen Taran make this facial expression before. I guess you've never been tested.
This is they must be conspiring against me right now.
Yeah, those bitches are conspiring against you.
I did finally watch the Stranger Things episode where they talk about conspiring.
I heard there's a lot of it towards the end of season 3.
Yeah, there you go. So they talk about pros and cons. Jack says it's better for him to keep to get rid of Chemi because she is going after both him and Jackson. They talk a lot about like, oh, well, she's going after 2 of us in our group, and Jess might go after 1 person in the group, and then we have the votes to keep each other safe, and so on and so forth. The reality is that Chemi would go after Jack and Jackson, although she did say that she would live up to her word when she promised Jack she wouldn't put him on the block, which... I mean, obviously they can't believe that, though.
There was also like the moment earlier in the day where they like walk out of the HOH room. They see that Jess is unhappy that Bella's been in there, and they're like, oh, means Jess is definitely targeting Bella. We know. That's why, because she looks unhappy. It's like, yes, that's why you know. Okay.
Yeah, so Chemi is, theoretically going after Jack and Jackson, whereas Jess is going after Bella and probably Nick. I guess what they're trying to say is that Jess is a little bit more likely to put up somebody else with Bella, like, I don't know, maybe Sam or something. But in reality, it's obviously going to be Nick and Bella, and Chemi would obviously put up Jack and Jackson, or or Jackson and Sis or Holly or whatever. And so it's like the difference in safety for the 8 is actually pretty negligible, but they're really throwing it out there as like, well, Jess could really potentially put up somebody else. And again, Nick and Bella aren't exactly in a position to really argue their case that they are just as much in danger with Jess as the other side is with Chemi. They also keep talking about how Chemi is considerably more dangerous in competitions. She's watch out for Chemi. But like, Jess can't win anything. It's like they have amnesia. Like, they don't remember that Jess very nearly beat Jack in the most recent HOH competition.
Yeah, I guess they forgot that there's competitions of all kinds and that pretty much anybody could win a competition.
So they talk about that, and the less Bella pushes, actually, the better here in this particular instance, because Jack is kind of like, well, but look, I know that Chemi is coming after me and Jackson, but look, if it's better for the group to get rid of Jess, then I'm on board with that. Like, I want to do what's best for the group. I want to protect, I want to protect Grateful. That's what I want. And, maybe we could like make some kind of deal with Chemi. Maybe I can use the veto on her, and then that will make her feel better about us. And Bella's like, yeah, I mean, we could like maybe pitch a final 3 with me, you, and Chemi, and I feel like I'd be able to convince her to not go after you, which again, I do feel like is probably kind of true, especially given the fact that Chemi, again, did say that she was willing to stay true to her word when she promised Jack she would not put him up. But I think she would still go after somebody in the 8. So
yeah, she definitely would. Like, who else is she even really supposed to go after, right? Like, she doesn't really have that many options.
I think she would do like Jackson and Holly.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, I would like to see it.
Yeah. So this is starting to look kind of good. Like, Jack is really is ambivalent. He really feels so powerful and untouchable that he is willing to keep Chemi around, because it's like, whatever, we're gonna get both of them out soon anyway. And so they're like, all right, well, let's talk about it as a group later. It's we'll figure this out. And then we get the veto competition.
Veto competition.
We come back from the veto competition, and Sam has won the veto for the second week in a row.
His second veto in 2 weeks. I don't understand this decision making. It's actually like shortly after the draw in the morning, he was like, oh, I'm so mad I got drawn because I'm gonna have to go out there and win this veto. I think he was talking to Bella, and Bella's like, you don't have to win it. He's like, no, I have to win it. I have to go out and win it now. Like, Sam, just stop. He's doing too much.
Yep. It's the second week in a row he did not need to win the veto, and he did. It's also the second week in a row that he beat Jack in a somewhat physical, I believe, competition. I think they were trying to build or stack something, I think.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yes, and it was apparently so physical that Jackson is also going to end up rolling his ankle pretty bad. He's going to be kind of out of commission for the rest of the day.
I mean, I think that might be best case scenario for Jackson, to
honestly
not be considered so much of a physical threat right now.
I think it might have been Tommy who said, like, this could be bad. This could be like Christmas. And I was like, oh boy, get ready for Final 3, Jackson.
Thankfully does not appear at this hour to be like Christmas. But like ankle injuries too, like sometimes you don't think it's serious and then it is.
Yes,
I am a little
to be
worried.
clear, it's Jackson Mickey, not Jack, that rolled his ankle. Because
did I say Jack? I'm
no,
sorry,
no.
guys.
I think we did say Jackson, but it's just a little bit confusing. Still, I refuse to say Mickey.
Yeah, I'm not calling him by his last name. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
So that's happening there. So I mean, obviously there was incentive for Sam to win this one. He got a trip to Fiji by winning it, but still, he now has won 2 veto competitions in a row, and he has beaten Jack. Like people are starting to talk. Like this guy Sam, he's good at these things,
Well,
and
Sam,
it's another sort of clue to. Did he win the power too?
I'm worried. I really think he might have. I'm quite worried about it. And the thing with Sam too, though, is it's like Sam is not that old. Like he's not an old person, but he's been working his whole life, and he has what I like to call old man strength, where it's like where you see someone and they don't necessarily look like they're physically that strong, but then they have practical strength that they have been like honing their entire lives. It's like my dad doesn't look like a physical guy, but he's been working in the trades for so long.
Well, I
that
mean,
he could destroy you.
yeah. Well, I mean, Sam, he's pulling trucks across the country every day.
Those gears must be hard to use.
It takes a lot of strength to move trucks, right?
I mean, it's not like he just drives the truck, right? Like
we're still working on Flintstones logic, right?
Yeah, his legs.
Yeah.
Wow. His legs out of control because he is running cross country.
Rob in the chat says Sam is 31, right?
He's not old.
What?
Like he's not old, but he has what I like to call old man strength.
He's a dad, says Marietta. Maybe you should call it dad strength.
No, because I feel like I know a lot of dads that aren't that strong.
Well, certainly you know a lot of old men who aren't strong either.
I feel like every old man I've met is like surprisingly strong.
Every old man is strong. Okay.
Surprisingly. Like it's always more than you would expect. You know what? I didn't come here to be attacked today. Steffi, get out of there right now.
As she says I didn't come here to be attacked, she gets attacked by her cat.
She just tried to knock so many things over. Okay, we're good. Sorry, guys.
Roy in the chat says Sam is a beautiful older man. Yes,
he is he's a very attractive older man. He's only 5 years older than us, Taran.
4 years.
Oh my god. It's just because my birthday's later in the year, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's 5 years. No, less than that.
Man, he really looks a lot older.
Yeah.
He's beautiful. Beautiful.
You know what? Maybe his old man strength is like in progress.
Yeah. All right. So Sam has the veto. Honestly, I feel like, you were like, oh no, it would be terrible if Sam won the power. I think Sam having won the power is best case scenario considering the other options, except for maybe Tommy. But I think Tommy is going to use it to keep everything nice and calm. Whereas Sam is the one person that might actually use the power to shake up the status quo a little bit.
Oh no, I meant for him.
Yeah.
Because if they find out.
Yes.
Because he's winning too much. That's all. Out of the options, yes, I would be happy for him to have it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't say much.
Yeah, he's also one of the few people that wants to keep Chemi this week. So maybe if it has something to do with that, probably not. I'm not going to get my hopes up for the second week in a row.
Something with snakes, and maybe it could be used. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out tonight.
Jack is going to talk with Nick, and they talk about, again, pros and cons of keeping Jess or Chemi. Nick says he's not going to be able to be a mole anymore because they don't trust him. And Jack is like, well, you don't need to be a mole, do you, Nick? You can just sit there, play a loyal game. Don't need to be doing any of that anymore, Nick. He's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Definitely agree. Like, I'm definitely loyal.
For sure. I'm loyal now. Yeah. Because what are you supposed to say to that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I was planning to be a mole still. I don't think I want to play a loyal game. Yes. But Jack is out. He thinks he is so powerful. I really kind of wish he had won the first HOH to see how it would have developed over 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's oh man. these two are two of the worst people in terms of like interrupting other people in the middle of their sentence by being like, yeah, I know, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I'm not going to let you finish what you're saying because I totally agree, and I want to make sure that you know just how much I already know it and agree with it. And it's so Nick is going to talk to Jack about Sis, because he had that conversation with Sis a while ago about Jack and how she feels intimidated by him sometimes, and she doesn't know if she can be herself all the time because she's, in La La high school land, and she has a high school crush on Jack, and she's just so nervous. She gets butterflies sometimes, and so Nick is telling Jack about that conversation. He's like, yes, sometimes she feels intimidated. She was, kind of worried to tell you how she felt, and to worry, kind of nervous to ask questions. And Jack is interrupting him at every other word, like, yeah, I know. She already told me about this. You don't know more about Sis than I do. I have a better relationship with Sis than you do. I know about all of this, and she already talked to me about that. And totally, I mean, she's not intimidated, but I don't intimidate her. No, definitely not. Whew.
Well, I mean, how dare Nick imply that there is anything about Sis that Jack does not know? How dare he?
Yeah, like Nick is trying to in this moment be like that kind of like, hey, I'm being a wingman right now, but also I am kind of subtly bragging that Sis came to me about this. And so Jack, he is accepting the wingman advice, but then also pretending like he's rejecting it. Like, oh, I already knew this. Come on. No, it's totally fine. Everything's already been solved. You are not fixing my relationship with Sis. It is already all me. I am perfect, and you don't need to. I do not accept advice from the likes of you.
All that Jack wants is someone to be like, guess who likes you? Sis. But he doesn't want anything more than that. He doesn't want advice. He doesn't want help. He doesn't want the implication that he doesn't know as much. He just wants to be like, yes, Sis likes you. She's really into you.
Yes, and I do not think it's a coincidence that tonight is the night that Sis and Jack get together. It's after the conversation that Nick had with Jack.
Do we have to talk about it?
I think we just did.
They were under the covers, so.
Ooh, see, you went further. You kept going. You said, "Do we have to go there?" I said, "No," and you said, "Oh,
no,
we're doing it."
I'm done now. I'm done now. I'm just practicing for my Love Island coverage.
All right, so Nick and Jack we'll decide as a group what we do with Chemi and Jess. Kat is going to talk to Jackson and Holly. Jackson and Holly let Kat know that they are definitely voting out Chemi, that she is the bigger threat. She's more likely to win competitions. Jess is just going to, continue to spiral and make a target of herself. They'll take her out next week, so on and so forth. Kat brings up Bella and how sketchy she is. Holly and Jackson agree. They really think that Bella is very sketchy. In fact, Sis is going to be very upset about what she heard when back in that conversation that Jess had about Bella, where Jess was definitely not throwing Bella under the bus. Sis, for some reason, took that to mean that Jess was throwing Bella under the bus and was actually pretty upset about what she was hearing about Bella. And she definitely feels like Bella is really sketchy, and that they maybe need to think about that moving forward. Christy was also going along with that as well. And there's a general sentiment out there that Bella and maybe Nick a little bit are playing a little too hard. They're definitely the first two out. 6 shooters is becoming a real thing. It's becoming a very concrete thing that is actually together, and they're really thinking about, like, Nick and Bella, definitely the first 2 gone from this group of 8.
Well, and then this is also the point where Jack makes a comment about how he really would love to bring Nick and Bella back into the fold and then cut their heads off when they get down to 8.
Yeah.
It's like, so why do you have to bring them back into the fold then?
Jack talks like this getting blood on your hands is obviously like, that's a very murdery way of talking about Big Brother. But Jack only talks in death metaphors. He's just like, look, I'm for the team. And if I die because of that, if I die because I make decisions for the team, I'm fine with that. I die like that. I want to bring Nick and Bella back into the fold, and then at 8, boom, decapitate them. Boom, they're dead. It's like, whoa.
And normally speaking, I'd be like, oh man, it's so funny that this person talks in such murdery terms. But Jack's the only one where I'm like, ooh, this is a giant red flag. I'm scared.
He really is. He really is Khal Drogo. He's secretly Khal Drogo. Just he got warped into our dimension from Westeros, and now he's here and he's playing Big Brother. He's trying to fit in with the rest of us. That's why none of his family has signed releases, because he's secretly Khal Drogo, and that's why
they don't know how to read.
He's very problematic, because Khal Drogo is from a different land and a different time.
You cracked it wide open.
Yeah.
It's just, he's probably gonna have to cut his hair soon too, once he's defeated. We'll know at the end of the season if he's got short hair. That'll be confirmation.
He's gonna get voted out, and he's gonna be like, "Where's the guillotine? What? Wait, people haven't been dying?"
He walks out on the stage to talk to Julie, and he's like, "This is nice. This isn't what I thought.
Yeah.
What is this?"
Yeah, Bren points out in the chat, this is why I had this idea, is Chemi did call Jack the Dothraki last night.
Because Chemi is perfect.
Exactly.
Oh, I love her so much.
Rob says, Doth Jackie.
You know what, Rob? Maybe you've had a little too much coffee today. Maybe one too many cups.
Oh boy. All right.
Oh God, where were we?
I don't remember.
They were all talking. Oh yeah, he wants to cut their heads off.
Yes,
decapitate them.
Chemi is going to have a conversation with Sam, and he says that he's probably not going to be using the veto, but he would prefer that she stay this week. Sam does want Chemi to stay, but doesn't feel he can use the veto. Jack doesn't want him to, so he's probably not going to be able to do that. But he would love to find a way to help her stay. He's gonna push for it in the big group meetings that he's definitely a part of.
Yeah, and so maybe that's another indication that he might have some sort of other power that he could use to save Chemi, and then I'll be forced to stand Sam until the end of time.
I'm pretty sure the rules are we are not allowed to even a little bit hope for it after what happened with Ovi.
It's really against my instincts to root for a twist anyways, so you're right. No hopes up for me.
Yeah.
But if you were the kind of person who might get your hopes up, that's what I would get my hopes up for.
Just not too high.
Just not
because even if he does have it,
might not use it. Might not be something helpful. He uses it
probably pretty low.
Could be something not useful.
So Nick and Bella are also going to agree with each other that they would prefer for Chemi to stay. They don't really know how to make it happen, though.
Yeah, well, and this is just it. Like, I feel like Nick and Bella, all they do is it's all talk with them, and it's not working.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been put, like, what they should do is try to make it happen. And if it doesn't, then they should be like, you know what? This tells us that we have no power in this group of people. We should start gathering the rest of the people and really making a push against the big group. And obviously, that's what Nick wanted to do this week anyway. He was hoping that somebody like Chemi would win and take a shot. But I think that hopefully they can recognize that they really need to, amp up their schedule here and make some kind of move. Especially because that's exactly what Cliff, Ovi, and Nicole want them to do, which we'll talk about just now.
Which we'll talk about now. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yes, Cliff, Ovi, and Nicole were having a conversation together. And this is the group that has been kind of slowly coalescing, slowly gathering together over the last few days, ever since Ovi was evicted.
And it's the kind of thing where it's like, you can't be forming stuff like this slowly. Like, why didn't they do this a week ago?
Yes, this is what frustrated me, because they're working really well together. And again, Nicole was in a position to kind of maybe influence the Christy portion of people to keep Ovi last week. But she was at the time convinced by Jess that they needed to keep a woman in the house. And so they had to keep Kat around, and they had to get rid of Ovi. Now, granted, Kat has turned into somebody who's pretty fun to watch on feeds, but still, this would be a much more effective counter-intelligence operations group if Ovi was not an evicted house guest and 1/3 of their members was already gone.
Well, exactly. 1/3 of them is already gone. And like, yes, Kat is entertaining. Guess what? Kat would still be entertaining as one of the camp comeback people.
Yes.
Just imagine her being told she has to wear that camp uniform.
It would have been so much better, because that would have meant that Jackson took a part in getting her out of the house, and then also probably then when she stayed was like, imagine the Jackson and Kat breakup scene, only he had already tried to do it by voting her out, and now he's forced to do it because she stayed in the house. Like that would have, and then she was up there with David. A lot of people are shipping Kat and David. She would have been up there in the same room as him. It would have been even more Kat and David stuff. This would have been more fun.
Yeah, everything would have been better. So we need to go back in time. We need to change what happened last week so that this week can be a little bit more fun. And yeah, Nicole she has a lot of influence. Like, she played a role in Chemi not getting backdoored last week. Yeah. Like, she's good when she gets the opportunity. So it's just frustrating.
So they're going to talk about the basically. I think from Cliff's perspective, he went into the house hoping that the current situation would not happen, right? He was like, I really hope that it's not just a big group that forms and it's just kind of like everyone or anyone but me. And so it's then the outcasts that get taken out and picked off, because that's the worst case scenario for me. He was hoping that it was going to be a Big Brother 20 situation, two sides battling it out, Clash of the Titans stuff. That's where he would be able to thrive. And what happened was a big group formed, and they're picking off the people on the outs. And then it started to look like, okay, but it's a fractured group. Cliff, he's survived the first week. It's a fractured group. He's in with some of the people. This is looking okay. Then Camp Comeback happens, and it really just solidifies the group even more for much longer. This is a nightmare scenario for somebody like Cliff coming into the game. And so he's talking about like, I like, this big group does not seem to be fracturing on its own. We need to do something to break it up. You know, at the very least, it seems like we're the last on the list of the targets for the big group, but that's not enough. We need to break it up.
They're still on the list.
Exactly. How do we go about doing that? Nicole says, hey, Jess has been trying to throw Bella under the bus for creating this women's alliance. I think this is the crack that we need. If we can encourage Jess to continue to throw Bella under the bus and get the rest of the big group pissed off at Bella, then we can cause fighting between the Sam, Nick, Bella group and the rest of them. That would be good. And Ovi also suggests that David is talking about how he wants to cause chaos and stir things up. If they can get information fed to David, especially via Jess, then David can also help them in, you know, creating cracks and throwing information out there. So they're really like an insurgency here, like trying to throw counterintelligence out there and just like blow this thing up without exposing themselves. And I'm really, really enjoying their meetings here.
Yeah, and it's really great too. Ovi's like, we need to get to Jess. We need to get her to confront Bella. And that'll be we need to say something to Jess that gets her to do that. And Nicole's like, I already did that. Don't worry. Like, I'm on it.
I love them. They want to create a name for themselves as well. I don't think that I swear I saw one out there last night, but I couldn't find it this morning. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any. I don't think they've decided 100%.
No, I don't think they're 100% on a name, but they did have one, and I feel like I liked it, but maybe I was imagining things.
I don't remember seeing that. So.
But yeah, so they are working here together. Cliff is later going to talk with Fellowship. That was what I saw. Yes, the Fellowship.
Oh, I don't like that.
It's not bad. They're like little hobbits trying to defeat
out of the way.
Sauron.
Yeah, which is like fine, but okay.
All right. So
it's not the worst.
But look, I am really enjoying, in particular, obviously some people are definitely frustrated at Cliff's game for being such a rat at times. But I'm really enjoying how good he is at it, because he is secretly working to blow up this alliance, while at the same time ingratiating himself with the right people. He's later going to talk to Kat and be like, yeah, I totally want Jess to stay, because he knows that Kat wants Jess to stay. And he hasn't been caught yet, and he is probably the safest of this group of three that they're a part of. Certainly more than Ovi.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Ovi might actually be safer since he's already gone, so they can't put him out again yet. But no, Cliff has really ingratiated himself well. There was a point last night where he made some sort of a joke, and then Jack was like, he just moved up the list. He can stay a little longer because Jack is out of control.
Yeah, and of course Nicole is fantastic as well. I love the way she thinks.
So fun.
And she, I think that Nicole was also very safe, but I do think that this Women's Alliance thing has, I think Cliff is a little bit higher on the list than Nicole at the moment, but I think they're both extremely talented, and I don't think that list is going to go all the way down to the end. I do think that this Nick and Bella thing will get blown up, especially with people like Cliff and Nicole stoking the fire. So I'm very excited to see that play out, and I really hope we get more meetings with these three doing their best to essentially save the season.
You know what? They're going to really need to hit the chiropractor afterwards for carrying the season on their backs.
Yeah. And hopefully this is not an alliance that gets outed within 24 hours.
Well, Bella's not in it, so there's a good chance that it won't get outed right away.
But Cliff is. You never know all the way with Cliff.
You're right.
But I mean, it is definitely in his best interest to keep this quiet. And Cliff has talked in his Cliff notes about how he trusts Nicole and he wants to work with Nicole, even if they end up on separate sides. So I do think that Nicole is the person he would not rat out. And so I do feel like this is a genuine thing that, he is still doing his best to rat other people out and ingratiate himself with this big group. But at the same time, of course, he needs the big group to break up. And this is how I think he's going to do it.
I hope so. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I hope so.
Yes. All right. 6 shooters are going to get together and discuss the eviction, whether it's going to be Chemi or Jess, and they pretty much just all agree it's Chemi. Sis, I tweeted this out yesterday. The first thing Sis is passionate about in the game all season long is that no, it has to be Chemi. Jess is useless. It has to be Chemi that leaves. Chemi is much more dangerous, guys. Like, where did you come from, and why is this the first thing you care about?
And also, it's like, I don't think it matters for her necessarily.
Well, she heard that she was potentially going to be put up by Chemi as a backup, and so I think she's mad about that. And look, yeah, she's right. This is better for her, but still.
Where did she come from? Do you think, is this like a twin twist and this isn't actually Sis?
Maybe. She did have her hair a little different, and she had a flower in it. She looked a little different yesterday.
Just because she hasn't been super active, I keep forgetting about Sis. And then I'll see her in a room leaning on a cushion or something. I'm like, who's that? Who is this? I'm like, oh, right, Sis. Okay, yeah, she's in the house.
Well, the problem is that she's always hanging out with Holly. I really want to. I was like, what's her? Holly. And Holly also put a flower in her hair yesterday. It's like, it's sometimes very difficult to differentiate.
Okay, I'm
except
sorry.
that one is a beautiful older woman.
And one is a beautiful younger woman. Okay. Holly and Sis do not look alike, except they both have dark hair.
They don't look. That's not what I'm saying. But they're both
Okay.
around the same height, and like they
Yeah.
both just kind of like hang around, just like
They
lounge.
lean. They lean a lot.
They lean quite a lot, and so you often just see somebody in their hair. And most of the time, I just assume it's Holly because she's more active in the game, and so that's why I feel like I see a lot less of Sis.
No, like literally, it's so easy to forget she's there until she has this one random moment of being assertive.
Yeah. All right, so they all agree that they need to be taking Chemi out of the game, and this is when Jack talks about decapitation, and it's Chemi. Chemi is the one that's going to go home. Jess is not as dangerous. They can take her out soon after, and that's the way it goes.
That's that's how it is.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Me neither.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Then late at night, we get, as we briefly talked about before, under the covers action with Jack and Sis, and then also Nick and Bella.
Because you know what? They are already seen as a pair. They're already seen as quite threatening. So you know what? Ramp it up.
Yeah, we were hoping that this was not going to be too showmancy this season. And now we have Nick
Two showmances.
and Bella. We have Jack and Sis. We had Jackson and Kat, and I think we will have Jackson and Holly. It's a lot.
It's entirely too much.
It's basically like and really, again, there are a lot of shippers out there that really hope that Kat and David will get together.
I mean, they would be the only ones that I would find standable. I don't know. It just happens every year. I guess this is how it is now.
Yeah. It's basically like
well.
every eligible person in the house basically has, except for like Chemi.
Well, this Chemi's too good for all of them. So.
All right.
Yeah.
That's about what we have for you. Anything else you want to bring up, Kristen?
The only thing that we didn't really talk about is earlier in the day when Kat was talking about wanting Jess to go because Jess is spiraling out of control paranoid. And I was dying laughing. I was like, you should not be trying to paint that as a target, Kat.
Was that when she was talking to Chemi though?
I think so. But still, like, I was like, Kat, what are you doing?
Yes, Kat does want Jess to stay, but she did tell Chemi that, I could definitely want, it's still, I want Jess to go, like that. But yeah, Kat definitely does want Jess to stay. She's been talking with people around the house for the most part throughout the day, talking about wanting Jess to stay and talking to Jess about wanting Jess to stay. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. That's everything.
That's everything. All right. So we will be live tonight after the episode to recap the episode and talk about everything that goes on. We'll find out who has that, the power, the chaos power.
Yeah, this one was chaos, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. I mean, I do kind of feel like it's Sam, but I also
it's
feel
either Sam or Tommy, basically.
It must be because it feels like Sam is clearly good at these competitions, and he probably did better than Jack, if what Jack says is true. So it seems kind of likely that Sam would have it, but I also feel like it's so weird to me that Sam wouldn't have told someone about it. Like, he's not exactly known for his
For keeping things quiet?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not normally what we get from Sam. So
There was a funny moment between Nick and Sam during the
Oh,
day
yeah.
where Nick just kind of like was talking to Bella and Sam was there, and he brought up the fact that he was a therapist, and he just turns to Sam. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a therapist. Sorry, I forgot to tell you earlier."
I forgot about that too. Yeah, like these people have no judgment.
Yeah.
Like this is why just don't lie about your job if you're gonna go on Big Brother. Just don't lie about it because you will get caught or you will let it slip. Just be honest.
Sam's first reaction was, "You're a therapist?
He's
Am
like,
I
I'm not.
effed up?"
Well, and then Sam goes, I'm not really a truck driver.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, what? He's like, no, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. I drive truck.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot about that. What? I feel like I thought that happened on Friday. The days blur together.
Yeah. So that happened, and it was funny. Nick tells Sam that he told Tommy early on because I accidentally brought up grad school, and then I was like, oh crap, and so I had to explain it to Tommy. He says that Christy figured it out.
I mean, I believe that from Nick that he would accidentally let something slide. Like, it's like, hey, you know how I just accidentally let it slide to you? Yeah, I did that earlier with someone else. It's like, okay, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, and he says, I don't know why I didn't tell you. It just, slipped my mind. Obviously, you're the person I trust. I would have told you earlier. And, Bella knew too. So it's like, oh, so I'm like, what, the fourth person you told? Thanks. Thanks, person who's the one person I trust the most in the house.
Yeah, he's just lucky it was Sam.
Yeah.
Could have been so much worse.
All right. So we'll find out tonight what happened there in the whacktation competition, and then tomorrow morning we'll be live at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 21 live feeds. And tomorrow night we'll have our second roundtable of the season. We'll go through all of these players, rate them out of 10, and we'll give you what happened for the whole week. It'll be a lot of fun.
So much fun. The most fun.
Yes. All right. So you can find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. Find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. Kirsten, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media at Kirsten Said What. I love consistent branding. And then the premiere of Love Island is this Tuesday. So I know myself, Brian Scally, and Rob Sesternino are going to break down the premiere episode.
There you go. Love the coverage, even if you don't the show.
And the thing is, Love Island is about the love connections. So you can ship things. Whereas Big Brother's not supposed to be about it, which is why I get so mad at it. It should be fun. I'm really hoping that it's as fun or close to as fun as the UK version.
Yes. And the commercials tell us a different story about what Big Brother's supposed to be, fortunately.
I watch all of my Big Brother on Global. So in Canada, a different network has Love Island than has Big Brother. So we haven't been getting all of these ads. So I watched the last episode on CBS because I was like, what are these people talking about? What are these ads? And you're right, I don't like it. I don't love the ads.
Now you understand the current feeling.
But it hasn't been as overexposed for us in Canada, so we'll see. Anyways, check it out. It's going to be, at the very least, check out the premiere. Check out the premiere recap with me, Robin, Scally, and it's going to be great.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time.